Good day, my dear students. Welcome to our Oral Communication in Context class. This module consists of one lesson, namely, the functions, nature, and process of communication. After going through this module, you are expected to first, explain the nature and process of communication. Second, understand the relationship of the functions of communication to everyday life. And third, illustrate the process of communication. Lesson 1: The nature and process of communication. Communication comes in various forms, from the simple nodding of your head, stretching of your hand, raising your eyebrows up to your daily conversation with your friend over the phone, constant exchange of text messages, and regular browsing in social networking sites. These are but some examples of how humans communicate their thoughts, feelings, ideas, and insights. This only signifies that humans really engage in communication. How will you react to the following picture? Believe it or not, your coming to your family is a great joy. Your first cry immediately after birth announced your arrival into this world. Afterwards, your mother understood that when you cry, you were hungry and gave you milk in response. Your face also expressed your feelings. As years passed by, you started pronouncing short words and responded by waving your hands or nodding your head, and most of the time, laughing out loud. Today, you can act out, speak, and write to tell everyone you think and feel. These are the ways you communicate. When you exchange ideas with someone or you send information to others, you do it in two ways. You either use words to say what you want to say, or you express yourself through gestures or facial expressions. Since then, people have the inherent need to communicate. Humans are social beings. They live to interact regularly with others. In fact, their endurance is due to their ability to express themselves and connect to one another and the world they live in. When you look back in the history of humankind, you will find that early men could not speak as you do today. Records shows that the people have used various communication techniques such as the use of symbols, gestures, words, drawings, and sign languages. Words and languages developed much later in human history. Over the years, communication has progressed tremendously. Language developed side by side with technology. Now, in the 21st century, we realize that the power of communication in building relationships and the community at large. Hence, we see the importance of communication. What is communication and why do we communicate? Communication is a two-way process of connecting to both living and non-living things. It also means of sharing and exchanging messages, informations, ideas, and feelings for mutual understanding. Gregorium JC 2015. Communication connects people and the world they live in. It is through communication that people are able to express their thoughts and ideas or convey information and messages through word of mouth, gestures and signals, signs, and others. People have always communicated with one another in various forms. Let us further define communication using the two key terms stated above, the message and understand. First, communication is a message understood. Unless a message is understood, we cannot say that communication has taken place. Let us send a message to someone and say, "Where came first?" The person who gets this message would wonder what it means, for the arrangement of the words does not make any sense. The message is sent, but the receiver does not understand it. Therefore, the communication to take place, we have to consider two conditions. First, there should be a clear message. Second, the message must be understood by the receiver for whom it was meant. Second, communication is a social interaction through messages. Think of someone telling, "It is very warm today." In this case, we are communicating what we experience. The weather being warm is what we feel or experience physically. In this scenario, we are sharing our feelings or experience with someone else. Thus, we may say that communication is a sharing of experience. In our society, we all interact with messages without interaction. In a society cannot survive, social interaction is always through messages. We discuss problems and arrive at solutions. We exchange ideas and interact with another. We transact and then we negotiate. In doing all of this, we use communication. Imagine a situation where we're not able to speak and interact with others. Or think of a family living in the same house without speaking to each other, or relating any form of message to one another. Such situation can be very lonely and problematic. Without communication, all forms of human relationships will vanish and die. Communication is therefore crucial in building and maintaining relationships. Process of communication. There are also times when we fail to communicate effectively, which results to misunderstanding or miscommunication. Why do you think these things happen? What are the ways to avoid them? We are sometimes misunderstood due to the level of speech we use during conversation, by the volume of our voice, or the rate of our speech when we talk with our friends or acquaintances. Sometimes we are misunderstood due to the nonverbal actions that we project or incorporate in our speech during face-to-face communication. Also, when we send text or chat messages, we were misinterpreted because those messages are often brief and devoid of emotion. Let us now try to consider the process of communication. How does the communication takes place? Who are involved? What processes are considered? By understanding the communication process, we can also duly avoid the misunderstandings or miscommunications. Our everyday transactions with people follow the communication process. Our everyday transactions with people follow the communication process. As seen in the illustration, communication begins when the speaker or source of communication responds to a stimulus and decides to encode or transmit it in the form of message or a code through a particular channel or means of communication. The receiver decodes or interprets the message sent and responds accordingly based on his interpretations of message. This response comes in the form of feedback sent to the original source of communication. As the communication transaction continues, the sender and the receiver may exchange roles until understanding is achieved. Barriers to communication sometimes block the transmission of message, thereby creating misunderstanding. Through this process, we are able to understand communication is systematic. In the advent of technology, the exchange of information and messages in society has advanced and has been a subject of many studies. Functions of communication. Why do we communicate? Since communication is certain in our lives, it comes naturally and unknowingly. Communication serves many purposes. The following are some of the many reasons why we communicate: to inform, clarify, buy, teach, accept, criticize, inspire, question, understand, learn, affirm, deny, counsel, express, confirm, persuade, clarify, conceal, sell, promote, advise, reveal, motivate, and many others. We realize that communication serves many purposes. Whether we are at home, in school, at work, or at play, we engage in communication. Happy learning, everyone! Thank you for listening. Goodbye!